Alright guys, I'll just apologize now for the noise. It's pretty windy today, and we've got some military aircraft just doing some drills, so it's going to get pretty noisy every now and then here. So sorry about that. But it's been a year since I've done my video on the cuttings I had grown of the Rangoon Creeper. A couple of months ago, I gave you the last update on the Rangoon Creeper that I had created a kind of like a makeshift tree trellis for it to crawl onto, and this is what it looks like so far. So it's, you know, as unbelievable as it may seem for this, you know, crazy looking vine that actually looks like a tree to have come from a cutting. That's exactly what it is. So this plant literally grew from a fraction of itself that was maybe about this big. And as I stated in the very first video, I didn't see any videos out there on the Rangoon Creeper or how to grow them from cuttings, or if they even grew from cuttings. I had made attempts with seeds, but that didn't pan out, and finally resorted to growing it from cuttings because I had come across a home that had a Rangoon Creeper crawling along a chain link fence. And I brought it home, I made cuttings with it, and every single one of those cuttings survived. But with one of those cuttings, I decided to, you know, kind of do this project on it. And that was to see if it could, you know, take off and crawl all over this, you know, little makeshift trellis that I had created. Here's the, as you can see here, here's the tree. You can look back at a few updates before, you know, today's, and you could see what it looked like when I first put it onto this tree. And here's some of the, you know, just weeds, some vines that were growing around that I used to kind of tie the Rangoon Creeper onto. As you can see here, the vines have hardened up and literally are as hard as a tree branch. So you can see the Rangoon Creeper hardens up, but the ends, the newer vines, are still, you know, pretty loose and flimsy, which is awesome because I could train them to climb whatever I want and whichever way I want them to climb, and in time they'll harden and actually stay right there where I wanted them to stay. You can also see down in there was where I had bent the vine, and it almost snapped. So I kind of tied it into place, and the vine actually kind of stayed in place, and it just healed up. So I've got to cut that out in the case the vine needs to get bigger. But as we come down here, you can see the bungee cord that I had originally used to stabilize this tree branch, but because the roots down there have probably, I've got a cinder block down in there, so the cinder block as well as this tree branch have probably been stabilized by the roots of the Rangoon Creeper. And here it is. This was a cutting, and it's amazing. It's just amazing how well it's grown, how well it's taken. And all I've used is a MIRACLE-GRO potting mix, and you can kind of see the pearls, you know, the fertilizer pearls right there. These are the original pearls that were already in the fertilizer potting mix, the MIRACLE-GRO potting mix, sorry. But every now and then I will shoot it down with some of the liquid feed, just saturate the pot when it dries out, maybe every week. I haven't had too many flowers to where, you know, I'm used to seeing the Rangoon Creeper supply, which is, it'll, you know, turn this whole, you know, vine here red, pretty much like that. So here we are at the flower cluster, and here it is. Okay, we've got a white flower there, a red flower, which is just as red as that there that I just told you, and you know, you can see some shades of pink. Actually, there's a slightly pink flower there. kind of looking through the leaf here. Sorry, I'm not doing, you know, too good of a job of showing you these flowers, but well, I'm glad we found a small flower cluster so I can show you what they kind of look like. But in time, this whole vine should, you know, basically fill out with flowers. This is the main cutting I've been, you know, working on. I do have the other ones still in their pots that we had transplanted them into, and I also have another little Rangoon Creeper project here, smaller one, but you can see here I've created the same thing I created in this pot, just a smaller version here in this one. And there's just, you know, there's lots of new growth, and I'm very happy. You can see this vine here. This is what I'm going to start training to climb this branch. You can see a lot of, you know, new leaves popping out of this plant. So it's only a matter of time here before this one starts looking like this one. But we'll go ahead and go look at some of the other ones towards the backyard that I haven't, you know, really paid too much attention to, but I've just kind of kept alive. Okay, we've got this one here, which is pretty much just as healthy as the big one I've got. I just never, you know, got to transplanting him. And I'm probably gonna need to make a cutting out of this one branching out, because it's just totally in my walkway here. You can see the plant really wants to get out of this pot and just grow into something like that. Here's one of the other cuttings, kind of neglected here, but this vine is also pretty mature. So here are those bamboo branches that I used. As you can see here, the weight of the plant, it's just too heavy for these bamboo branches, and I was holding it together with vine. I just had the vine tied down to hold it up, but I'm going to need to get this guy repotted or out there to the farm, or maybe I just need to go find some more tree branches to create those big makeshift trellises out of. Here he is, the base of the plant, super healthy. Every now and then he is kind of rooted into the ground because he's been sitting here for a couple of months, and he totally needs another watering. So we'll go ahead and look at the other plants before we water them down. You can see he's got one little flower right there. As you can see here, they just need more growing space, and I'm sure when we come back to that transplanting, the root mass down here will be pretty dense, because these guys just drink all the water within a day, and I gotta water them every single day. You just see the amazing growth that this plant has constantly. Not as big as the one I first showed at the beginning of the clip, but potentially, you know, its potential will get it just as big. Here's another one, and another one. So you can see just from a few cuttings, you can create as many Rangoon Creepers as you want. So that concludes the update on the Rangoon Creeper. As you can see here, we've got the Rangoon Creeper vines just reaching out all over the place. I hope this helps some of you out there who are, you know, maybe trying to grow this plant or trying to propagate. But like I said, it's not too hard. MIRACLE-GRO potting mix if you can afford it, and maybe some MIRACLE-GRO liquid feed. You can get this plant to do some pretty amazing things. Very hardy plant, and I'm very happy with the results of a year. And I'll see you guys on the next update of the Rangoon Creeper.